society. So Huda in particular is interested in literacy and specifically mobile literacy. So that's what she wants to discuss. And she sees that the discussion has already been started by Jeff, and he says that mobile literacy is targeted literacy instruction on smartphones, tablets, and computers that children can use in and outside of classrooms. And the goal of the discussion is to get feedback from teachers and other stakeholders on how the new mobile literacy program is doing, what challenges have there been, what are the good things. So we see down here that the discussion has already started, and Khaled, one of the teachers, has posted this message. So he says that my literacy lessons are much more effective and on track using different types of technology such as tablets. In particular, the kids in his class are all of different instructional levels, and he can now provide targeted instruction. And he's also set up a system where students can check out the tablets at the end of the day. So the discussion continues with more comments. One of the other teachers, she says that she wants to try this in her classroom, and she says thanks for sharing. Another teacher, Alia, says that I wonder if we use tablets, would it be possible to leverage some of the existing learning and reading apps? And she believes that there are many. So the interesting part now is that there's a cognitive system, a smart agent that's been listening to this discussion in the background, and it understands that it can provide some value to bring the conversation forward. So the cognitive app advisor has already gone out by itself, and in real time brings back the relevant apps that could be useful for these teachers. And so now the discussion continues. So there's another teacher, Fatima, who says that her kids love the tablets, but the problem is that they end up fighting over who gets to use them. And the classroom is rowdier than ever, and it spills over after school. Another teacher, Aisha, notices the same thing, and she wants to poll the rest of the teachers to see if that's the case in general. So she quickly creates a poll and sends it out, and several teachers reply, and now there's objective data, that not just anecdotal data. So most of the teachers strongly agree that the kids are now fighting over the use of tablets, and the classroom has become rowdier than before. Good. So now we go back to the discussion, and more comments are coming in. So Amo, one of the other teachers, asks, would it be possible to get more tablets so that the kids wouldn't have to share in such large groups? So another smart cognitive filter has been listening. The cognitive analyst comes back with a response relevant for the discussion. So what it has figured out through its analysis, going out and researching things on its own, is that the Amazon Fire is the least expensive tablet, and it's available for $50. Then figuring out that increasing from 5 to 10 tablets per classroom in 50 classrooms, the cost would be $12,500. And it has also gone out and understood that Ericsson and Apple both have tablet in classrooms programs where tablets can be purchased for reduced prices. Right. So then the discussion continues. And now Jeff has posted a message. And remember, he was the one who had started the discussion. So he says, this is something we may be able to explore, but I think we first need to know whether these tablets actually help improve literacy scores before investing in more. So then Carly comes back. She is the researcher from New York University, Global Ties for Children. And she says that the initial findings suggest that children in classrooms that have access to tablets have higher literacy scores. But the other contrasting finding is that there are actually increased experiences of peer victimization, which is what the teachers are also reporting. Right. So then the next thing that she says is that children in classrooms in which tablet literacy was paired with a targeted social, emotional literacy strategy reported significantly lower levels of victimization. Right. So then Paul says that the IRC has curated and adapted evidence-based SEL strategies. So this is something that can be built upon. So then the teacher, Fatima, asks, so what should we use? So another cognitive agent the Cognitive Data Advisor has gone out and found relevant data for this question. So it has found a database of evidence-based SEL strategies, and we can look at that data. It's a table of activities, their descriptions, and which competencies they affect. So whether that's impulse control or listening skills, or etc. All right. So now we can go back to the comments and see.
There's another riveting 6 minutes, but we are going to now audition for narrator in the future. Kush is a brilliant young man, but we need Joan Lombardi to be, or Pia Brito to be actually animating. I think you got the sense. The IBM data science people have a whole bunch of cognitive power that you see on these commercials. You know, you Ask Watson, and if any of you have seen the Ask Watson, that's the underlying information science that links this, and it curates and it's the same kind of thing that intelligence agencies use to track phone calls and things like that. It monitors online discussions and intelligently searches the web for resources, and it facilitates informed conversation among teachers, access to resources that they could use, and then real-time feedback about whether it's many people believe it should, many teachers in this case believe it should be done, and what the outcomes are. This is a beta version of this. We're piloting this now. This is not real. This is hypothetical, but we are going to be piloting this in Sierra Leone, in Niger, and in northern Lebanon, and we wanted to give it as an example, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Maybe I'll just add that they were, I think that at the end of the video, they mentioned that they found donors, I think it was Google, for the deployment of the apps in Lebanon. So this is just the bit that I wanted to mention that was in the
But there's
in the
still
video.
plenty of need for donors.
Right. I'd like to invite Mohamed, who is the president of UNICEF Youth Network, GL962, and he's also a student at the Hashemet University here. Please, Mohamed. Pleasure.
صباح الخير.
Good morning.
شكرا أماليا.
Thank you, Amalia.
راح أحكي أول إشي.
I'm going to first talk about the network, how it started.
هلا كل واحد فينا لما بيكون عطشان يا بيشرب
All of
بسرعة
us, so when we're thirsty, we either drink quickly and feel sorry, or we drink slowly and feel fulfilled. In 2010, we needed someone to represent us. We celebrated, it was a celebration in the conference of the Convention of the Rights of the Child. A group of youth came up with a number of recommendations. One of them was that the youth want a representative. They don't want to be invited once every year and then maybe a celebration of the 25th anniversary of the convention. And so every 25 years they work on it for 4 days. They wanted a permanent representative because there's no real government agency that represents them, so they wanted someone from them to them to work on this matter. So one of the recommendations was a youth representative. UNICEF at the time adopted the idea and worked on it. And their ideas started to say that they wanted a number of youth. First they worked on child labor, and then the matter came out so that they worked for a short period of time and then they stopped. So they started to mobilize a number of youth. They brought together 50 youth from the ages of 10 to 25, and so that the youth experiences will all be harmonious, they needed to work with them from the same level. They started to teach them or train them on life skills. They worked with the first 50, and then the numbers started to moderately increase, 100, 120. they saw that they have beliefs, they have capacities, their capabilities are almost similar. They were from all walks of society, of the community. They were represented from the south, the north, everywhere. They worked with them in two respects. They gave them trainings at various levels. They worked with various government and non-government groups. So they worked with UCAN, the Network for Youth. So everybody started to say, how can I join this network? How can I work with you? So it was a new thing, but there was really nothing official because you're working really with the students, so they're not full-time dedicated to this. When the youth started to work on seminars and workshops and conferences, some of them were at the regional level. We started to expand more when we saw people like this idea, so we needed to work on something official because initially we wanted the youth to work by them, and for them they started to create annual plans, the youth themselves, to launch the network. Our network took 2 years for establishment because we said you either drink immediately and then you feel at a loss, or you take it slowly. So it took us 2 years to really officially launch it. So they decided when we didn't have actual face-to-face communications, everything was phones and tablets. So we wanted to deal through this. So we worked partly online, partly offline. The network was the first of its kind in its independence. It provided a space for the youth to speak. You bring them together, you empower them, and then give them a space to apply and to work on seminars and workshops with government and non-government agencies, like we said. The independence, it was the first network of its kind, chaired by a 24-year-old who's elected, obviously, held in December 2015. It was the first of its kind in this regard. The network has nobody who works full-time. We all have other responsibilities, but also we dedicate a large portion of our time to work on supporting our community, supporting people from our generation, because we believe that they will rise, because we can't always rely on a higher council of youth, people who are as old as my parents. So we worked with the youth on two components. The first part was what I talked to you about, and then the second part is Ghassan Hilu, who will talk to you about the online aspect.
Hi, good morning. First of all, I'd like to, may I be excused and stand in here to finalize the thing?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Another apology. It seems like the screen shrinked and it doesn't look like this. Our portal is the first of its kind. We can call it that, because it's referred to for people to be able to report incidents like destruction in public facilities or so. I'll go through the website, starting with how can we make a complaint. So we'd go and check. First of all, it's in Arabic, so I'll do my best to translate well. So we can talk about harassment, sexual harassment. We can talk about city facilities, public safety for children, discrimination, and traffic, and so on. So then you'd go to the details of the complaint. Afterwards, you'd upload a photo if you have any proof that it happened. Later on, you'll write the description. You just say which category is the most damaged or it's affected by this. Then you mention the area. Afterwards, you can drop a pin where it happened, and it's the first interactive website among those youth NGOs. So, moving to, we have a voting procedure. So whoever is a member, you can vote on an issue that was already added to the website as a complaint. So afterwards, you will have the ability to check for yourself for what's the most complaint needed to be solved. So let's go on city facilities. We'll prioritize them based on the votes, the number of votes that they have, and the dates of issuing. So we have 5 votes on city facilities, the use of it, and yep. So what I'll do is I'll have the details of the complaint, and I can share it with my friends, and I can easily vote. So when I vote, it will jump. Sorry, I'll vote to this one. It will jump up after I refresh the page. So here, it became 6. So it has the priority to be, it has the, to have a solution based on this voting. We have the, sorry, so those complaints, when we plan to solve them, we have initiatives. So whoever have an initiative, they can suggest an initiative to solve those complaints. Also, we can update our monthly activities for our network, as we have 24 activities per year based on divided in 2 halves, first cycle and second cycle, 6 months for each, and those are the projects that we have. And we have resources. We can upload videos where we think it will benefit youth in general to have them to have their understanding better for their situation in the Arab countries. And you can volunteer with us through our application. It doesn't take much to join us. I know most of you are either below 24 or below 24. With all due respect for all of this attendance. Then it's the brief of our network, who we are, and our mission, which the President Mohammed Tarauni has earlier tried to clarify. And last but not least, our great members. So here's me. So we have Ayam, Mais, and Hind who are attending this conference, and basically we can add a brief about ourselves, who we are, what do we think of, what are our main issues that we want to solve. About myself, like I'm a business student at the University of Jordan. I'm interested in digital media, and I have passion for volunteering. I have those my comments on the complaints that we have shared earlier, and finally, what are the skills? The last thing that I want to share with you is we have statistics based on those who did those complaints. So it helps us to know which category is the most affected by those complaints. So let's say we have checked earlier the public facilities. So the most those who voted for the both gender, from 5 to 10 are like less than 10%, and then it goes to the larger share goes to male, and goes on and on. So the damaged people, based on the statistics for 2014, are as the following. So we provide statistics based on the the complaints that we have. Generally speaking, this is our website. We'll welcome whoever who wants to join any of our activities as you're part of the experience that we can learn from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm always amazed how technology and the internet are such an empowering tool, and it's nice to have youth here, making us all feel very young. I'd like to invite Nada Elattar. She's Director of Educational Programming for International Social Impact at Sesame Street. Please, Nada.
Good morning, Sabah al-Khair, buenos dias. I just wanted to start off the presentation by giving you a little bit of background about Sesame Workshop. The organization's name is actually Sesame Workshop. You might know it as Sesame Street. In Latin America, you would recognize Plaza Sésamo or Barrio Sésamo in Spain. And for the region here, we have Iftah Simsim, Alam Simsim, Shara Simsim, and Hikayat Simsim, just to remind people if they are familiar with the programming. Okay, great, thank you. We like to think of ourselves as the longest street in the world, and I've put up a slide with some of the international characters. Actually, all of our international characters are represented on this slide. And I do also want to say that Sesame is a nonprofit educational, multimedia educational company that started in 1969 with really the idea of providing early childhood education to children who did not have access to quality childhood education, to give them some exposure informally to this. And it echoes what was said earlier in the presentations. Do I have a clicker? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Rami, that was echoed by Rami earlier. Since launching in New York, actually, in the United States, we've now reached about 150 countries with 30 original productions. So we have 30 original productions that span and reach 150 countries globally, which is something we're pretty proud of. It's a pretty good reach that we have. And in the region, if you take a look at the slide, in the region, it outlines all the productions that we have here, and you can see where we are around the globe as well. I wanted to show a short video that is really our corporate presentation that gives an overview of Sesame's international social impact work, and I'll just let my colleagues in the video speak for themselves on this.
Unique versions of Sesame Street can be seen in some 150 countries around the world.
We've taken our proven model for early education across the globe, where local partners help us meet the specific needs of each country.
Well, Afghanistan is a great example. I mean, this is a country with 5 million children under the age of 5, and only a third of them are in school.
Our production in Afghanistan teaches lessons of tolerance and acceptance, and has an emphasis on girls' education, inspiring young girls to learn and dream big.
Across the world, there are 1.2 billion children under the age of 9, and 19% of those children live in India.
Poverty and circumstance prevent millions of Indian children from having any kind of quality preschool education. So, we bring it to them.
These characters are so powerful in their ability to engage children, to teach children, to model behaviors that are important for children, and that gives us an opportunity to make a huge difference for children around the world.
It's really the opportunity to work on something that has at its heart children.
The need for our mission has never been greater. If we can help kids everywhere to grow smarter, stronger, and kinder, I believe we can literally help to change the world.
I actually want to take a minute to talk about the mission statement, the new mission statements. Our mission now is to help kids all over the world grow smarter, stronger, and kinder. Previously, our mission statement was helping kids reach their highest potential. Can anybody see the difference between those two? One, the original mission statement was a little bit broad, a little bit vague maybe, and difficult to measure in those terms. But if you look at smarter, stronger, kinder, you can definitely build measurement around each of those. And we are really focusing on those three across our various projects all over the world. And in Sesame Street in the US, we have a mission to really focus on the kinder for this season. So the entire season will focus on kinder, which is very relevant to our conversations today. I wanted to go through our process very quickly. I'm not going to talk through the entire slide, but I wanted to get you to get a sense of the kind of process we go through and rigor, I would say, in terms of developing our programming, both television programming, radio, digital media, and print material as well, that addresses children, parents, and caregivers. And we usually try to build in a impact evaluation to assess whether or not we've succeeded at the mission that we're out to achieve. I wanted to also, we're a media organization, and I want our work to really speak for itself, so we put together a reel, and if this is all I have to show for the rest of the time I have, that's fine. But we put together a brief reel of our work on respect and understanding from various parts of the world. For the interpreters, it's all subtitled in English. Okay.
Der zittert ja noch mehr als ich. Hey, du! Ich bin nicht da. Natürlich bist du da, ich sehe dich doch. Du brauchst keine Angst vor mir zu haben. Habe ich aber. Und warum? Weil... Du bist so anders als ich. Naja, ich bin eine Schnecke und du bist ein Monster. Ja. Klar bin ich anders als du. Aber du hast ja auch Fühler, wie ich. Da haben wir doch was gemeinsam. Nee, das sind Hörner, keine Fühler. Hörner. Naja, aber es sieht so ähnlich aus, hm? Und wir haben noch etwas gemeinsam. Wir haben beide vor Angst gezittert. Anna ist nie da. Hi, wir wissen. Wir wollen ja gar nicht. أنا بحب البسكوت. كمان بلعب مع إخواني هون. هاي كبير، مرات بغلبها بالطاولة ومرات بتغلبني. بس الباسكت بول فريقي دايما بيغلب. آخر النهار بكون تعبت وما في أحلى من قصة أسمعها بصوت أمي. شكرا يا ماما، تصبح على خير. لما بسمع الأذان بستعد للصلاة بالوضوء. الأول بغسل إيديا 3 مرات وبعدين أتمضمض 3 مرات وأغسل مناخيري يعني أستنشق 3 مرات وبعد كده بغسل وشي 3 مرات برضه. كمان بغسل إيديا الاتنين، اليمين لحد الكوع والشمال لحد الكوع 3 مرات وبمسح راسي بالمية 3 مرات وبغسل ودني كمان. وفي الآخر خالص بغسل رجلي الاتنين، اليمين الأول وبعدين الشمال كل واحدة 3 مرات. دلوقتي أقدر أبدأ الصلاة على السجادة وفي اتجاه القبلة. أنا حابب